Okay, we got God Bless America, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the pledge, Kiwanis pledge with Ron Black, and we got the invocation with Linda Roden. So let's do it.
And of course we have Larry Wade at the piano. Let's sing it from the heart, shall we?
Let us pray. Loving God, thank you for this beautiful fall day, the cooler air, the colors around us, and the reminder of your goodness in every season. We're grateful for Golden K and the opportunity to serve our community and the children around the world. Bless the work we do, both near and far. Give us willing hearts, steady hands, and joyful spirits as we volunteer and make a difference in the lives of others. We also pray for our nation. Where we are divided, bring healing. Where there is anger or fear, let kindness and compassion take root. Help us to see one another with understanding and grace. Be with us today in all we do and say. Amen.
Good morning, Golden K. It's a pleasure to introduce our speaker today, a member of the Early Birds, and very familiar with the Salvation Army, and Kyle Karsten. Now he's Director of Development at MRI. Let's give a warm welcome to Kyle. Thank you.
Well, I told a few of you as I walked in, it feels like I just came home, so it's so great to be here. I know there's some new members in here over the years. I think I've hopefully gotten to know most of you in this room, so what an opportunity for me to come back. I think the last time I was in this room, I sat over here with the Early Birds, and a couple of you came over and said, I didn't know you changed jobs. After 9 years with the Salvation Army, I actually still get people that ask me about the Salvation Army, and I'm very okay with sharing what I knew when I did that job. But I'm 2 months into my new job at making resources these days, and I hope that I can just paint a neat little picture of what I've come to know over the last couple of months, what takes place at making resources. I've also stood up here and shared some personal things with you, so let me do that first. I've shared that I have a 2-year-old granddaughter. Her name is Nora, and really the joy of this next chapter in my life. She calls me Pappy, so I would answer to that if you call me Pappy today. But she turned 2 this summer, and the great news that I have in sharing this with you, she will become a big sister in February. And not to outdo that family, my youngest son and his wife are expecting in December. So we're gonna go from 1 grandchild to 3, and I've told you it's a pretty cool club to be in. So I share that personally with you today. So making resources, I'm gonna kind of go through a couple of slides up here. I hope to again, just paint a picture of what I've come to know and learn and really appreciate more and more in the last couple of months. So if I could touch on a couple of things today, I would touch on the mission of what Making Resources does. Over the last 2 months, I've come into contact with people, and my first question is, do you know what Making Resources does? And some of you would answer that same question. They do A or they do B. I hope you leave here today knowing a little bit more or remembering that you had heard that before, and I'll share that a little bit with you today. I'm fascinated by history. When you hear the history of how this place started and how it has grown to continue to do what it started to do in the 1950s and what it still does today in Decatur, Illinois, I hope to paint that picture as well. I want to tell you about the programs. I'm still learning. It was originally going to be Amy Bleeftig, our president, CEO, and myself, who was going to speak today. She wasn't able to make it, but she trusted me to come and at least do what I could do here without her. It's been a joy to work with her, and I want to tell you about some of the programs that she and I have continued to learn about in the months that we've had here at MRI. I would also tell you that you probably have heard Amy speak about Making Resources. I love going on these tours and listening to her and her passion for the persons that we serve. She has also typically brought 1 or 2 of our persons served. You're going to hear me say person served, not clients, not people that are in our programs. Our persons served usually come with her. So I want to paint again a picture of some of the faces, some of the people that MRI is impacting on a daily basis, some of the people that I get to now see every single day as part of my job. And then I want to tell you about some things that are in place throughout the year. I hope some of you are like, hey, I already knew about that, or I've heard about that. Oh, I didn't know you did that. So I want to paint, again, a picture of some of the things that are in place at MRI, and I hope that there's some new things that you'll take away from today. So my position, I need to share this. I wasn't looking for a new job. I loved the Salvation Army. I loved serving at the Lutheran School Association 17 years ago now that I've been in Decatur. 17 years of serving now a third non-for-profit. So this isn't a leaving for something better. This isn't I needed something different. I was looking for something different. I want to share that because a lot of people thought there must have been a reason he left. There really wasn't a reason. Other than what I share with you today, I needed to be a person who would be able to wrap my mind and my heart around a mission. And if I could hear that in another nonprofit, I would consider it. Amy Bleefnig takes me to lunch. Can I just tell you what MRI does? And I fell in love with it and struggled. Fell in love with it and struggled. For about 3 weeks, I went back and forth. I had no intention of taking this job. And here we are. And I hope you get to see what I get to see every single day. As a development director, very similar to what I've done with some of the other nonprofits in our area. Fundraising, community relations, the communication both internally and externally. Sometimes that's social media, sometimes that's donor appeals, donor interaction with just sharing what we do and how you could make a difference. And then the business partnerships. This is new. You're going to hear me talk about jobs and employment for our persons served. My job is going to continue to be connecting the dots between our persons served as employees and businesses that are in this area. So if you might hear something like that today and say, you know what, that's a business who could partner with MRI. Not to hire because you feel sorry or because you're trying to do a favor, business. Business things that people with disabilities can offer to jobs and to businesses in our area. Some of those are in our building, you're gonna hear me talk about it, and some of those are outside of our building where our persons serve are working, living, and building a meaningful life. So that's a little bit about kind of my job and how this will connect to MRI. So we talk about a mission at MRI about promoting growth. I want you to look at these three words: growth, independence, and self-worth. Everything that I'll share with you today focuses on building a meaningful life, giving a person with a disability where we can focus on their ability, focus on their abilities, focus on a child of God, a person who can add something to this community, who has their own lives where they can grow, have a sense of independence, and have a sense of self-worth. Listen for that as you would hear some of the programs that we have in place, because that is the mission of Making Resources. So let's start with a little history. Some of you may know more about this place than others, and I won't even pretend that I'll be able to share everything that you might even ask about later on. But I'll do my best. In the 2 months that I've been here, I'm fascinated. There's a wall that has the history of Making Resources. And again, some of you may know some of these things, and I'll allude to a few of them as we go along. But it started in 1958 with parents who decided that they wanted and needed something more for their children with developmental disabilities. It started as Progress Resource School in 1958. Progress Resource School started by parents. Then in 1970, a second facility called Macon County Resource Facility began. So now you have a resource school and a resource facility kind of doing things separately and together. I'll allude to some of that here as we go along. In 1983, kind of a sub note, but if you followed our social media in the last month and a half, or if you saw it in the Herald and Review, you saw that Governor Edgar, then Secretary of State Edgar, in 1983 moves the license plate contract from 2 other states that were doing Illinois license plates back to Illinois. And the story in the Herald and Review captured it. I shared some of that on our social media if you find it. It's a great story of history here in the Decatur area. Not one of our programs per se, but one of our programs that definitely impacts the entire community. I'll share a little bit about the plates as we go along. So the Progress Day School and the resource facility merge together in 1988 to form Making Resources, what you have here today. And in 1991, they built the facility over on Hubbard Avenue for those particular programs. And if you've never had a chance to take a tour, you're going to hear me invite you to do that today. So that's a little bit about the history. But let's go a little bit deeper. Recognize some of these locations, and at one of these times, I'm going to go like drive around with my GPS and see what's still there and where was this. But these were the exact same things I just mentioned to you, but where they were located. I'm fascinated that it was First United Methodist Church where Making Resources started in 1958. The church hosted that with those parents that wanted something more for their children, for their family. It moves around, ends up on Maple Avenue. It changes its name to Progress Resource Center instead of Progress Day School. And then again, I alluded to the resource facility, MCRF. Again, in 1970, 2 different locations, which tells you more growth, more things going on, different facilities. And again, 1991, it ends up in the current facility at Hubbard Avenue. Let's go even deeper. Some of you recognize some of these faces. You might know Paula Finn. Paula Finn was the very first executive director at Making Resources, and then followed by Kay Scroggins and Drew Lewandowski. When I moved to Decatur, it was Drew who gave me a tour of Making Resources. Who knew that 17 years later, I would be part of the team at MRI. And obviously, so much respect for our current CEO, who's now been there almost 10 years, Amy Bleefman. So a little history within the directors, a little history within the locations. Well, let's go back to the mission. The mission is the people. You can see some of these faces. Again, I alluded to, sometimes we bring our person served with us to these kinds of talks and presentations. Let me bring a few of them with you just by looking at some of these pictures. And again, call your attention to what you probably already found on your table, some of those same pictures. But the people, the programs, the social media, our website, all on that first page, mission statement, our vision of building meaningful lives, that's the mission of Making Resources. And so when you just look at some of these faces and begin to know and learn their story of life successes on a daily basis and over the years, it's an inspiring mission to be a part of. So let me talk about these programs. If you would take a tour, you would start by seeing about 200 people with developmental disabilities are in our facility every single day. You ever see the MRI buses bopping around? We go pick up most of them and bring them to Making Resources on Hubbard Avenue. They will go through a number of what we call day training. I say they're classrooms. They're not really a school where you have to sit there and sit up straight and do your work and this and that. But they're all formed with meeting the people where they are in terms of their ages, in terms of their disabilities, and meeting them to where they can be trained to just have socialization, just have training to where they can learn to live on their own. If you took a tour of our building, you'd see a classroom that's set up, I think I have some pictures here in a minute, of a classroom that has a kitchen setup. Here's how to use a refrigerator. Here's how to use a microwave. Around the corner is a washer and dryer. Here's how to do your own laundry. It's things that they can be equipped with in these day training classes and settings that they can use then as part of their lives on our property and when they leave our property. The job assessment, training, and support, I'm going to talk about these jobs, but I'm fascinated, similar to like you would sit down with a senior in high school and say, I don't know, what kind of job do you want to do when you grow up? We sit down with our person served and say, so you're looking for a job. What are you interested in? And we do assessments. We put them through what's called a PACE lab. And then once they have those interests that come to the surface, we actually train them online to start to know what some of these things are. And then it's my job to connect businesses with some of these interests and training. So we talk a little bit about the jobs as we go along. I'm really amazed at the next three things. These are staff members and their teams that are adding clinical services. Registered nurses, 4 of them on staff, that go around on a daily basis to make sure everybody's good, passing meds during the day that would be necessary. I mean, it's the real deal taking care of these 200 individuals that are in our building. Now, I will say as a side note, I've learned more about the nursing part of it over the last 6 months, not just 2 months, probably 9 months now. My wife is actually one of the registered nurses at Making Resources. She took this job in January, totally unknown that I would be standing here with a Making Resources shirt on speaking to you. But I started to fall in love with Making Resources because of her joy every single day. And we'll talk about kind of where they weave in and out of some of these programs. But nurses, registered nurses who are taking care of our person served. Behavioral services, the psychology, the interaction with the community, the things that they would need outside of medical, outside of day training, that's offered throughout the behavioral services department. And then two individuals that are just in charge of making sure that everything that's done keeps in mind that these people have human rights. We all do. They do. And so it's neat to see an event that's going to be, an event that's going to be taking place on Friday. You'll see it probably in the Herald and Review over the weekend. It's called Speak Up, Speak Out. These are individuals now across the state that are coming to Macon Resources. And it's an all-day seminar of sorts, breakout sessions, speakers, all to kind of meet them where they are, but all to tell them you have a voice. You have a life. You have rights. Stand up for yourself, understand these things, and even people with developmental disabilities have those same rights that you and I have. So some of the programs. Let's go a little deeper into the programs. So I think I talked about this classroom. Here's a picture of like the kitchen setting and the laundry setting. Here's a day where they were just doing cooking classes. They were just learning how to cook. Again, things that we would maybe teach our kids or our grandkids. These are individuals that are going to be able to put this to use as they get out into what they know now as a meaningful life. Employment, things that we have done, are doing, will be doing. We talked about the license plates a lot, so there's a picture of Governor Edgar. It was Secretary of State Edgar after the very first license plate was made in 1983, presenting that then to the director, Paula Fitt. We have a shredding business that is at MRI. If you're a business that wants or needs shredding done, your church needs shredding, your business needs shredding, your home needs shredding, that's in place. And it's a great job for our person served because it's the same repetitive thing, but so necessary that somebody's got to do it, and they do it. We also have a cleaning service. It's called Jan Pro. Cleans the building inside of MRI, leaves the building, and actually services the 4 rest stops within our area. So you might see some of the people that, when you stop by a rest stop, that are smiling at you and cleaning and taking pride in their jobs, which they do, it might be some of our persons served. The license plate obviously is a big part of employing our persons, but then employing a number of people in the community. So it's not just license plates being done by people with disabilities. It's a very big industry, as you can imagine, when 5 million license plates a year are made right here in Decatur, Illinois, right in the building at Macon Resources. Jobs that are in our building, Morgan Distributing and Mueller bring their business and business items to us, and we shoulder the employees. We shoulder the who's calling in sick. We shoulder the benefits, which when you're a part-time employee, there doesn't have to be any, but some of these are full-time employees hired by Macon Resources to do the jobs for businesses like Macon, Morgan Distributing and Mueller. And we're looking for other business partners, if that would ever be something that I don't get a chance to introduce to a business, maybe you could, and then I could have a conversation with them. Independent living, did you know that we have 9 group homes? 9 group homes that are around Decatur that individuals with disabilities are living on their own with some support. There's a staff member there at all times for the individuals that kind of fall into a category that this is a capable thing that they can do. But 9 different places. I'm not so hung up on where are they, but these are actual pictures and slides from our history wall in the building. But 3 of them there started back in 97 there, and then went on to 2 more in that 2005 range, and then 3 additional ones in that 2014, 19, 20 range. And when I say I've learned a little bit about these group homes, a person that's kind of the house supervisor and their staff will be there to assist and lend support. They're at a phone call away to the registered nurses on staff, which I mentioned of one of them is my wife. So they take turns taking these on call. Hey, Joe's not feeling good today. Here's what I think needs to be done, or hey, medication needs to be this or needs to be that. So constant communication on how to have this independent living, but then to kind of figure out how to make that the most meaningful life for those individuals. MRI Kids, so we're serving individuals with disabilities down to age right after birth, all the way through end of life. So when kids are learning social skill support or autism services or speech or language therapy, we want to continue to put that out there. That's a program that exists that maybe you don't hear a ton of, but I think of Golden K and supporting the children of the world, the children of our community. There are kids with disabilities, and some might be as simple as speech therapy that's needed. And while the school does a lot of those things in a lot of ways, we also then kind of can supplement things in the summer. Came across a community member the other day whose daughter did go through our MRI Kids program for speech therapy. And according to him now, amazing what strides she made in the 2 years that we were working with her along with the school district. And his words were, "Now she won't shut up." so I think that tells you strides were made as part of our program. I'm a little more interested when people now start talking about Special Olympics. While it's not an MRI program, a lot of our persons served are so excited to participate in Special Olympics. Things that are happening in our community that support Special Olympics, it's a little bit closer to my heart now. But if you met Bobby does not meet a person that he doesn't proudly share his experiences with Special Olympics. And he was specifically a bowler and a swimmer. And if you can see on that slide, he's, I think, from Ecuador, or I can't read that slide, but he's outside of the country, and he kind of still has that outside dialect that comes with it. And then in his fun, special, heartwarming way, he always shares his successes and his experience with Special Olympics. So MRI and Kiwanis, definitely here with Kiwanis, we've talked and we want you to know it's still on the radar to try and get an action club. For those of you who already know what that is, bear with me. An action club is a kind of a spin-off similar to our key clubs for younger individuals. This is an action club for people with disabilities, and Kiwanis has action clubs. So stay tuned on that. It's got to merge into the lane of all these other programs. But I've told a few of you in this room that I'm on staff here and a Kiwanian. I wanted to see kind of what that looks like and try to play a part in that if I can. But it does kind of warm your heart to think of, maybe 10 or 20 or 30 individuals that we serve every day as part of a Kiwanian extended umbrella, if you will. So stay tuned on that. I'm sure more to share as we go along. And finally, I want to kind of talk to you about some of these events. I think that some of them are self-explanatory, but some of them are just kind of neat, like, hey, when the next month rolls around, just listen for these things. Just watch for these things. Just follow our social media or reach out to me and say, hey, I heard that in March there's this Paint the Town Orange thing. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? If any of this today resonates with you, these are experiences and events that could certainly be financial support. My job is to put the mission in front of people, the opportunities in front of people, and then tell you how you impact people with developmental disabilities. We do a golf outing every September. We had just, again, if you've followed our social media, October was Disability Employment Awareness Month. The recognition of people with disabilities working, they're employed. And obviously we know that as our programs are taking shape in MRI. There's an MRI annual appeal that is coming out, and if you've donated in the past, I believe you'll get one of those, but let me digress a little bit. On the back of, I think, the second page on your table, this is actually the opportunity that I would tell you. On the front, we have 3 more success stories. When you talk about Christine and Calorie and Karina, they started out as person served and have moved into either regular jobs or living on their own, and they show such pride, and that some of them have been with us for just under 2 years, and some of them have been with us for 13 years, and you see that take place. The stories that you could take with you and share and celebrate with us are on that piece of paper. On the back is an opportunity that we will be sending out to all of those that have been supporters of ours in the past. But I would love to extend that invitation to you. Here's an opportunity to support what you're hearing me share today. The Paint the Town Orange is a very cool thing. Again, it's just a Disabilities Awareness Month, and we take an orange. You might have a yard sign, you might have an orange ribbon that you'll wear. But just the awareness into your church, the awareness into this club, the awareness into anybody that you see that month that just says, let's celebrate these people and their abilities. Let's talk about who they are and what they're all about. Some of you have come out to our field day. Watch for that. It's a great experience. They come out to our outdoor space called Meaningful Meadows, and they play kickball, and they do basketball, and they have snow cones, and they're grilling hot dogs, and all these different things that we invite the community to come and have just a little outdoor picnic party with us. If you've been there, you know what that is. Some of you are already signed up to host a table at our trick or treat on the actual day of Halloween from 10 to noon. They're already talking about that. They've been talking about it for a month. What am I going to dress up like? And are you going to have a table? And this is a big to-do that I know some of you have already experienced. So watch for some pictures and some fun there. The final sheet on that handout, I just want to put this out today because I may not be back with you before December. December is going to be a special time for us. There are 85 individuals that are living in our group homes or other independent living that are my age, your age, and everything in between, that don't have family, that we make Christmas special as MRI, but as a community. These 85 individuals have a wish list in their hands right now. They learned about this and they said, Cal, you're in charge of this. Kind of ironic. We go from an angel tree and then we go to a Secret Santa. But Secret Santa is going to bless our person served with just a couple of simple presents underneath their tree. So it's not set up on our website yet, but that sheet tells you when you come to some of the timing of late November, early December, if you would want to just take on one or two of our individuals to help fulfill wish lists. These aren't kids that are asking for Xboxes and some of the things that we know our kids and grandkids ask for. These are just individuals that don't have someone that you could help be someone. These are individuals that just are going to ask for a new Cubs hat or a new Cardinal sweatshirt or just a new pair of tennis shoes. That's how simple it is, and they're going to see these presents underneath the tree. They light up. I've seen past pictures. I can't wait to cover that. But I'm going to extend that invitation to you today. You've got the annual appeal there. You've got a potential to pour into the people that we serve with your time, with your finances. So your support today is that. Your support today is pour time into and partnership into MRI and these individuals when you can. Awareness, participation, support, whatever that looks like. Leave this place and just tell somebody about what we're doing over there. Just tell somebody that you learned something a little bit more, a little bit different about MRI while you were at Golden K. And I extend the invitation. Grab a few of you and set up a time with me and let's take a tour. Some of you have been there and done that. But on a daily basis, you could kind of come and see what I'm trying to tell you goes on over there. And obviously your financial support is going to help us do what we do and help us build meaningful lives for the people that we serve. Our Facebook has always been pretty active, but it's my job to kind of be that now. It excites me. I told a couple of you this morning that I hired a PR coordinator, so I get to kind of, for years and years and years, I said I just wanted to clone myself and be two places at one time. You ever feel that way? I just wanted to do two things at one time. Well, I just hired a graduate from Bullock University who's coming out with a business marketing degree and is so excited to not just do our communications with me, but to learn so much about these other opportunities that a development office has in store, already in place and will be hopefully more in place as we go forward. So, I take a deep breath on that, and I think Amy would be okay with trying to answer some of these questions if you have some. But you also might hear me say, I don't know, because I've only been there for 2 months. But let's take a couple questions, if that's still okay with timing. Okay, all right, sounds good. Thank you for letting me come in here today.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One, I had a stepbrother. He passed away a couple years ago, but he was developmentally challenged. When his father died in 1995, we started looking for group homes for him and found that there could be up to an 18-month waiting period.
Okay.
Does your group homes have that type of waiting period?
Okay, that's the first question. What's your second, just so I don't forget it?
My second question is, are you familiar with the Penguin Project?
Okay, let me come back to the Penguin Project. Our homes, our group homes are full right now. I've not had a conversation with our team saying, do we have a waiting list? But you and I both know there are people in our community and people on a day-by-day basis that are ready, could be ready, will be ready. We've actually talked about what could it look like to get more homes. Have more opportunities for those same individuals to live independently. So I would imagine there's probably a waiting list. I've never heard us talk about it that way, but I have heard us talk, because if you look at the history, we started with 1, then we went to 3, now we're up to 9, and it's not a let's just do a home. This is going to meet a need. And so financial, state grant money, whatever that looks like, if more houses could be purchased, more people could be impacted. Kind of answer your question, I'd have to ask my team, like on a place-by-place basis, but I know they're all full. It's between 4 people and 8 people. Most are just 4 individuals, which I think makes it very manageable to interact with each other and meet their needs. I don't know what the Penguin Project is. Tell me about that sometime. Or do you want to kind of just briefly mention what it is real quick? Because everybody's asking, what's the Penguin Project now, or I am?
The Penguin Project involves individuals with developmental needs. They sing, they dance, they perform. They performed at the Kiwanis International Convention in Las Vegas, and they got about a 10-minute standing ovation.
Wow.
More than the international president. I think he was a little jealous.
Okay.
But it's an outlet for them,
Yeah.
creatively and artistically.
Very cool, very cool. I know similarly, and somebody in this room is going to know a lot more about it than me, some of our individuals singing, I think it's called Joyful Voices. And I heard them, people with developmental disabilities, doing a choir setting. And a few of them are our person served, but there is a choir similar to that. I don't know a lot about them, but I think as my person served become, hey, are you going to come to my choir concert? I'm going to be out there supporting them and watching them. So stay tuned. Maybe we can continue to grow that, or kind of latch on to the bigger project. Thank you for saying that.
Kyle, I was just wondering, what was it about making resources that enticed the license plate contract?
So if you read the article, it'll go into so much more detail than what I'm about to say. But when Governor Edgar, then time Secretary of State Edgar, wanted to move it back to Illinois, he specifically reached out to what is now Macon Resources, and I think his quote in the paper was, "They have something to offer." So he specifically said, and if you know where license plates are made, I think almost every state besides, I've heard only 2 others, and I'm hearing maybe up to 10, are made in prisons. They're made in the prisons of the state. But we were paying millions of dollars to another state, not to Illinois, so he knew we had to get this back here. And when he reached out then to a facility that now has built the facility and made an even more effective and efficient process take place for the state of Illinois, he wanted to include people with developmental disabilities out of the gate, and that's how he said it in the paper. I'm just quoting the newspaper article from that year, because I have the exact newspaper article in our archives. It's fascinating. All right, other questions? Okay, so thank you for anything that you do to support MRI now or in the future. Please take that handout with you. Reach back out to me. And again, just feel so at home here. Have so much respect for this group and what you do in the community. I just thank you for the opportunity to come and share a little bit about my heart and Macon Resources. And it'll be good to see you guys again soon. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Kyle, for what you do for the community, the person served. Decatur Golden K Kiwanis members would like to present you with this certificate of appreciation for joining us today.
That's great.
And what everyone wants, the Kiwanis, Golden K Kiwanis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a special presentation today. Sally Williams, would you come forward, please? We had our induction of officers and board members on October 1st, but Sally was not able to make it at that time. I think you were out of the country, weren't you? Okay. And so we want to acknowledge her today. So Sally, it is my privilege to induct you as a new member of the board of directors. The board of our club is composed of elected club directors and officers. Most of the business of the club is handled by the board, so you have a tremendous responsibility. You will determine the policies and activities of the club, approve new members, approve the budget, and conduct general management of the club. I know you will accept these responsibilities with great dedication. With the presentation of your CANs and certificate of election, it is my pleasure to formally install you as a club director of the 25-26 year. Fellow Kiwanis, please show your applause in recognition of our board member. And certificate. Thank you. Okay, we have a couple of members we want to install today. So could Edward Grant Bullock come forward, please? And Melanie Caputo. Is Melanie here? Good to have both of you. And see, Joe Caputo, is he here? You want to come up? And I guess you're the sponsor for your wife, so maybe you can give a few words of her background and your interest.
So thank you. So I'm serving as Melanie's sponsor. I think we all want to welcome her to the Golden K. We are going on 39 years of marriage. How she has put up with me for this many years, I don't know. But I will tell you that she's a wonderful wife. She's a great person, great grandma, great mother, of course. And she'll be a welcome addition to the Golden K. So, Melanie, welcome. Would you like to say a few words?
My wife's sponsor isn't here today, but Dan and Kathy both have helped me understand more about Kiwanis. And I'm excited to join because you guys do so much. I get in here and see all the activities going on, it makes my mind spin. My whole life I've been involved in helping other people. And boy, Kyle, where are you? You get me intrigued into helping with what you're doing at MRI. And I'll tell you, they got a key person when they hired Kyle. They really did. He's a great person for them, and I'm sure he'll do well. But thank you all for allowing me to join you.
Okay, thank you. We have a few more words to induct you here, and so Dick will do that right now.
Okay. Your sponsor will be your club mentor, familiarizing you with information about our meetings and events and activities. You can also direct questions not only to your sponsor, but to the club president, club secretary, especially the club secretary. She knows everything in the world. So if you need any information. I want to take a few minutes to reflect on the 6 objects of Kiwanis. Number 1, to give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than in the material values of life. To encourage the daily living of the Golden Rule in all human relations. To promote the adoption and the application of higher social, business, and professional standards. To develop by action and example a more intelligent, aggressive, and serviceable citizenship. To provide through Kiwanis clubs a practical means to form enduring friendships, to render altruistic service, and to build better communities. And to cooperate in creating and maintaining the sound opinion and high idealism which make possible the increase of righteousness, justice, patriotism, and goodwill. Having indicated a desire to become an active member of this club, and having been approved by the board of directors, do you agree to embrace the objects of Kiwanis as guidelines for your daily living? We welcome you as members of the Golden K Kiwanis of Decatur. And symbolizing your joining, we have the pens from the sponsors and information pamphlets. So you are now officially in, which means sign them up, get them to work. Okay.
Okay, on behalf of the entire membership, we welcome you to the Golden Cave Kiwanis Cave.
Okay, I hope your creative minds are ready to go to work. So the word, new vocabulary word this week, Gary, if we could have it up, is jobfusticate. Jobfusticate, it's a verb. I'll give you that piece of information which might help. So, what do you think the definition of this is? Yes, sir.
Just working hard without anybody realizing what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, in different words, it says to arrange matters such that other people look at your job and that to them it appears to be so complex and technical that they can't figure out what you're doing, which gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want. Now, since you got that, you have to come up and select a prize from our prize box.
Mousetrap in there. You didn't think of that. Get something solid. Hey, Jerry's giving up. I'll go drink back. Hey. Don't drink and drive.
So hopefully they won't accuse us of jobfusticating up here. All right. The attendance report for today.
We have 54 members present. Our guest speaker, Karsten, for a total of 55. And while I have the mic, real quick, I handed out directories today, and Mike Carr already found a mistake. So please look them over carefully and let me know. I'm not quite sure how I can get the corrections out, but I may just type up a sheet and have it here if you want to bring your directory sometime, or just let me know. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Good. Health report. Kathy? No, report is
It's
doing
me
that.
today.
Report.
The saddest and biggest news is that Kathy Thompson fell on Sunday and very badly broke both bones in her left arm. So badly that they did surgery on Sunday. Now, if you know, if you've ever, I had a break on the weekend and didn't get in until Tuesday. So, I mean, that means something that they did surgery that day. And she was admitted to the hospital, and she is hopefully going home today. So, very serious break, so you'll want to keep her in mind. And then from Early Birds, Bill Meyer is having knee surgery. He's often here. We see him often. He's having knee surgery on the 22nd. And that's all I have.
All right. Birthdays and anniversaries.
All right, it's kind of a slow week. Birthdays and anniversaries from 10/26 through 11/1. We have one birthday on the 11/1, Bob Lewis. He'll be 82, I'm sorry. And consider that prize your birthday present, Bob. Let's sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God bless you. Happy birthday to you.
Anniversaries, none. I do have a Bob Hope quote. You may know, you know you're getting older when the candles cost more than the cake.
Cheryl Boss?
I received this announcement this morning. Franklin Grove is having a bench dedication today at 2:30 for Noah, the little boy who was hit by a car and passed away. So if you would like to go, it will be at 2:30 at the school, and his favorite color was green, so wear green, please.
Okay. Charles Smith?
Good morning, everybody. We're trying to get an inner club for November 6th in Champaign. So if you're interested in going to the Champaign Club on November 6th, they meet at 11:30. I will have a sign-up sheet next week for everybody to sign up. Hopefully we'll need a caravan to go. So please let me know if you're interested in going.
It? No.
Sorry, got a text from Paula Lukenbill this morning. She was the winner of the best landscape at the Decatur Yacht Club in the Decatur Beautification Contest. And I thought everybody would like to know.
Super.
We also need to announce that on Tuesday, October 28th, to remind those of you that signed up, we'll be serving the meal at Good Samaritan Inn. And just a little side note there, Grant, who wasn't even a member at the time, said, could we come and work at Good Samaritan Inn? And I said, sure, put your name on the list. So he's going to be a wonderful addition to our club. The second thing is, last week, my daughter and granddaughter went with me to Springfield. And those of you who like to work on trauma dolls, we bought 99 yards of flannel and 10 bags of stuffing. And eventually we will have another work day at the Police Benevolent Home and make a whole bunch of trauma dolls. So thank you.
Okay, I think that's it for announcements.
Okay, just a couple words from the report from the board we had last Tuesday. We gave away $359.49 to Muffley School for dictionaries for the students to, I think, help them through their computers. And I know about that. I got a new computer, so I constantly have questions about that. So also there was some discussion then about the Action Club with Macon Resources. They're still working on that, gave us somewhat of an update. Okay, we are ready for our 50-50.
We received $69 in donations today, 34 to admin, 35 to a new pot since it was one last week. Last three digits, 293.
No winner.
No winner, okay. Okay, Happy Jug.
I want to put $1 in for getting here safely this morning. As I was on my way here, I was about 3 blocks west on Main Street, and there was a dear sweet lady that pulled out right in front of me, and thank the good Lord for good brakes, because I stopped within 2 feet of her door.
I have $8 for the Happy Jug. That's not even my own money. You may know that when a couple joins Golden K, one of them pays $8 less in their dues because they both don't need the magazine. Well, when Melanie Caputo joined, I wasn't thinking she paid full dues, and so I told her this morning that I have an $8 refund for her, and she said just keep it. So I'm putting Melanie's $8 into the happy jar.
I'm putting $1 in. I'm happy I got to be here today. I thought I was going to be out of town, but it changed by 1 day for going to a granddaughter's wedding.
I'm glad to have you, John.
$1. I'd like to do a shout out to Joel for everything he does for us. Right now, as you know, he's recording all of our meetings, and if you go to YouTube, you can watch our meeting on there. So I want to call out to him, and also to Linda at the bottom of each nugget. She'll have the link. So all I have to do is click on that to go watch our meeting. So call out to both of them.
I want to put in a
for a haircut.
donation. I'm getting a little emotional here. I want to thank you for being with MRI. In 1963, I graduated from Purdue. My wife and I moved back to Decatur, and her mother with her sister moved to Decatur that summer. Susie was at MRI for 55 years, and that was very much her home. And it's just the idea that I look at it. My two sisters were very close. My two daughters were very close. And Barbara and her sister Susie were close, but it had to be that Barbara's in charge all the time. But she looked at MRI as her school, and as her place, she had to be there every day. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Joy.
I have $1 for Kyle's presentation, and I expect you to send this message to Amy. Tell her, boo! Boo! And I have $1 here. I guess that's only 50 cents for each member, but $1 for the new members. And I have another $1 because I got to see my brother for a couple of days. He hadn't seen him since before COVID, so he came for a visit. He and his wife came for a visit. Good.
I don't quite know whether I'm happy, but on Monday I was romping in the surf on the White Sands Beach in Destin, Florida with my 4-year-old granddaughter. And now it's 60 degrees and there's 12-mile-an-hour winds. And what happened? I'm trying to get used to it. I guess I'll get happy eventually.
I have mixed feelings about this 82 thing, but I'll throw in $1 anyway.
I want to thank Cheryl and Karen and John. The four of us went to Sunshine Store with 4 Filipino international teachers on Monday, and they were delightful, and it was a wonderful experience.
All right, I need witnesses. This is a $20 bill, and I am a courier, okay? This is not mine. This is from Jerry Pelt. And I probably know what it's going to be about. This is for the Dodgers. and their success. And personally, I'm not a Dodger fan, so, you know, I've had too many experiences over the years of watching Drysdale and Koufax whip the Cardinals. So, but I have to say, what happened last Friday night was monumental in baseball and will probably never be duplicated again. So I'll put my own dollar in for that.
I'm going to put the dollar in for their speaker today.
Anyone else?
Oh, right over here.
I'm putting the dollar in to be, I'm happy that I'm officially a member of the Golden K.
Okay.
Next week when you arrive, we're going to be handing you a slip of paper and asking you to sit down and fill it out with some, answering some questions about yourself, okay? And we're going to use this to collect them and periodically pull one out, and we'll read the information on there and see if we can figure out who it is. So I'm going to ask that when you work on this and after you finish it, to not talk about it with your friends, because if you do, you're going to give away all the information, okay? So we'll have people to help pass them out and collect them from you and all, but we're going to ask you to do that when you come in next week. All right?
Okay, we'll have our storyteller.
With Veterans Day coming up in a couple of weeks, I wanted to come up with a story to kind of honor our veterans. A new camp commander was appointed, and while inspecting the base, he saw 2 soldiers guarding a bench. He went over there and asked them why they were guarding it. "We don't know. The last commander told us to do so, and so we did. It's some sort of a regimental tradition." The commander searched for the previous commander's phone number to ask him why he posted guards at this particular bench. "I don't know. The previous commander had guards there and I kept the tradition." Going back another 3 commanders, he found a now 100-year-old retired general. "Excuse me, sir. I'm now the CO of the camp you commanded 60 years ago. I found 2 men assigned to guard a bench. Could you please tell me more about the bench?" "What? Is the paint still wet?"
Okay. Okay, and our next speaker next week is Dr. Preveno from the president of Millikan University, and he'll be coming with Lori Kearns, the vice president of athletics and engagement. So the topic will be Millikan University. We are Golden K Kiwanis, and we enjoy changing the world for the better by serving children and others. And with that, we are adjourned.